All right, in today's video, I'm going to talk a little bit about mindset. That was kind of the idea I came up with, and we'll start there and see where this goes, because I never know where it's going to go, so we'll see. But the first thing I was thinking was fixed versus growth, where everything that I kind of talk about is a growth mindset, meaning that with the more that we do the things that I talk about, the meditations, the journaling, the focusing on yourself, trying to be better, like all the things that I kind of talk about, uh, looking at your limiting beliefs and all that, which is actually a limiting belief is probably thinking that we can't grow as our minds can't grow. Because a fixed mindset talks about like we all have innate abilities inside of us and we can't become someone else, where I think that's BS. But people are entitled to their opinions, so let them. I feel like if you think that you have a fixed mindset, then you won't do the things that will create the growth in your mindset. And I used to be that way because I grew up with limiting beliefs that I wasn't able to do everything. So for me, it was a challenge because I didn't think I could do anything. Like, this has taken so long for me to develop because a long time ago I didn't believe I could do all this stuff. So why was I going to even take the necessary steps? Why would I buy a course, do the meditations, go on a retreat, go on a silent retreat? I mean, Jesus. So, like, before I started doing all that stuff, I didn't have that belief. I thought that I did have a fixed mindset where I only had certain, I didn't have the capabilities, the skills to do the things that I'm doing today. I didn't have the confidence to get up here and be myself in front of everybody and not care. I mean, I still care a little bit, but you know what I mean. Like, do it anyway, regardless of what's going on. And again, sometimes you need to mess up because you got to get that feedback so you can learn how to grow, which again, growth mindset. And I feel like just like with anything, like we all, well, I don't know if everybody has, but working out, you build the muscles every day. You can't just do one set and expect to be Schwarzenegger. You got Schwarzenegger. You got to keep working at it to get to that point where uh, you develop over time. But if you ain't willing to take the steps to at least get started, well, then what are you going to do? You're not going to grow if you keep that fixed idea. So for me, I feel like that's where we're at, where you got to keep embracing the challenges, keep overcoming your setbacks, and learning from the criticism. I mean, you got to keep an open mind. You got to believe it's possible, and then do the steps over and over and over until you get the results that you're looking for. And if you can't figure them out on your own, then look to somebody else that's already got the results that you've already had. So that that's what I've been doing over the last 2 3 years is reading about all these successful people and seeing what they were doing. And again, just because I'm not on their level yet doesn't mean that I can't get to their level. Because again, it started the same for them. Most of the people that I've studied over the last few years all started out with nothing, didn't believe they could do it. They had all these limiting beliefs and wouldn't start. They wanted to be perfect like me. We all feel like we got to be perfect in a society filled with competition, when really your only competition is you. Now, again, I'm not saying don't compete with people. I mean, I used to love to play sports when I was physically able to. I mean, I might be able to golf at this point, but I can't play softball at the highest level or the highest level that I could back in the day anymore. But during those things, it was like I always focused on me, trying to become the best player that I could. And I feel like if we focus on that, trying to be the best versions of ourselves, trying to grow for ourselves, and then you can bring that growth into the competition. At the end of the day, I want to win. Everybody does. But at the end of the day, if I lose, I say, all right, good game. And how can I be better the next game? Maybe I was not focusing in the moment, not relaxing in between pitches like I do, not refocusing when the pressure's on. That's where you grow, is when the pressure's on. You know, uh, you got to focus in that moment, like momentum. Like when a team's on a run and everything's going for them, and just you can see that like flow that they're in. But then all of a sudden they get, the other team gets a stop, and then all of a sudden a basket, and then next thing you know, it's like, all right, we got this, and they totally change the momentum. So that's the thing. But if we can focus in those moments and learn how to be in those moments, not just let our minds go crazy, like, oh, there's no way we can do this. They're going to beat us. You know, it's even like you got to change that mindset. Now, I'll use an example for our football team. Uh, Marysville beat us 10 years in a row, and we lost to them. And then all of a sudden, Richmond beat them at the end of the year, and we beat Richmond. And then we played them again and beat them. So maybe that, hey, you know what? Maybe we can beat them. We beat Richmond. Maybe we can beat them. And it's that mind. It put that idea in there. Before it was like they beat us 10 years in a row. We might have went in there with not being able to do it. Now I wasn't on those teams, so I don't know what the mindset was. But I'm just saying maybe that was part of the mindset. I guess I'll have to ask my cousin next time I see him because I think he was on that team. But anyway, that's just an example of showing where your mind sometimes when you if you walk into a situation with a bad mindset, you're not going to be at your best level. If you go and walk into something with doubt, not knowing if you can do it, that's why you got to create that belief on the inside first and push it out into the world. Now, again, it took me a while to build this belief up. I had to get over the limiting belief that I couldn't sit on here and do this. And oh, slowly but surely, here I am. Now, it took me, like I said before, it took me a couple years to get here. And that's the thing is that I think sometimes we want, what is it called? Instant gratification. We want the results overnight. And again, some results do come overnight. That's why you keep pushing. But at the end of the day, they didn't really come overnight. It just you just happen to see finally the result the next day. It's like I keep saying, you got to do the work when nobody's around. I got to keep in here and doing my meditations, doing my yoga, creating my good energy, like getting that all going, doing some rants, like just like affirmations, kind of believing it, and you instill that process in your brain, and you're training your brain to believe it. You're training your brain to see it before it happens. And then all of a sudden you get in these moments and it does happen. Like I visualize myself sitting in this chair and speaking about something that'll have an impact on people. And I feel like whatever that is for you or whatever that is for anybody, you just got to see it before you can do it. And the more you see it over time, the more then all of a sudden here I am sitting in this chair producing this video. I didn't know I was going to talk about this stuff. This is just what I mean by kind of going in that direction. But that's what it is. But you have to see it first. It has to be inside first. We've been taught our whole life to look outside for results. And again, sure, that's great. I have nothing against that. Some people just know. But for the most part, even those people are the ones that knew in their soul, knew in their heart that they could do that something. I mean, if you look, I don't remember who said it, but every idea in human history started off in someone's mind, and then they brought it into the world. So again, instead of looking for, whatever it is out here, look for it in here first, and then bring it out here. Man, that gives me a good thing. What was I saying yesterday? Yeah, because see, like you have to have materialism, you have to have spiritualism, inside, outside. But if you can learn how to be strong on the inside, then you can manifest whatever you want on the outside. But when you're trying to manifest from the outside in, sometimes it leaves you, empty on the inside because you're not creating from your soul, you're not creating from your heart, you're not creating from your passion. And I feel like that's what we need to start doing is that we're so like, oh, this is but and I'm not saying these are bad jobs. Like being a doctor is better than being a farmer, being this, and they both have important roles. The farmer makes the food for us, and the doctor saves our lives. And so again, both of them are necessity. Jeez, I can't even speak. I'm so excited. But yeah, but they're both everything's necessary. Be the best farmer that you can. Learn how to do it at the best level that you can. No matter what you're doing, learn to do it at the highest level that you can. And I remember too. I was at college one time, and I overheard these guys in the gym, and the one guy was like, they were talking about a guy who left, and they're like, oh, he went back home to be a farmer, and they're like, oh, okay. And then the other guy's like, and you know what the weird part is? He actually likes it. And it's like, well, I should have said something, but at the time it wasn't me who I am now. Now I would have said something. But I was like, that's probably the good thing that he actually enjoys being a farmer. If you don't, keep doing what you're doing. But if he enjoys being a farmer, let him do what he loves. And that's the thing, is that we try to love something that society tells us is good for us. Or, if you want to be a doctor and you love it and you want to save people's life, I commend it. I love them. I love doctors. The knowledge, the what they've done to get where they are, awesome. But at the end of the day, not everybody's going to be that. Not everybody has that drive, or maybe you can develop. Well, we probably believe that they're the ones that have that drive and we can't develop it for ourselves. And I'm here to say, no, we can. That's a good example of a fixed mindset, believing that only certain people can become doctors. Now, again, you have to want to do it. You have to feel convicted in your soul to do it. But you just got to put the work in to get it done in anything that you do. You can become a doctor of anything that you do, I look at. Maybe not a doctor of saving lives, but maybe I'm a mindset doctor. Just kidding, not yet. That's a joke. I don't want to get in trouble. But anyway, so yeah, I feel like if we put our focus on what it is that we want to do, we put an aim to it, we've set some goals. Okay, what do I want to accomplish? And repeat it and repeat it and repeat it, and understand that we're gonna have setbacks, we're gonna have days of doubt, we're gonna have good days, we're gonna have bad days, but you got to keep pushing forward. Don't give up, no matter what. I mean, there's still days I want to give up, but you know what? Here I am sitting here because I have to develop that mindset and develop that urgency, conviction, passion, and joy from within, because you know I do it because maybe someone will see this video where I was 3 years ago, and they're like, man, okay, me sharing my story of how I got to here will help others realize it themselves, that if they want to do so, whatever they want to do, they can do it. You just got to get a plan. You just got to research it and look to somebody else who's already done what you want to do and learn from them. There's plenty of people out there to learn from. And again, just don't be afraid to, fail. Don't be afraid to be criticized. Don't be afraid of anything. Of don't let it stop you. Is I guess what I'm trying to say. And if it has, well, why not start now? We can. I read something last night. It said, in a day you can fall in love. In a day you can change everything. In a day you can go in a different direction. So you can start wherever you're at. It doesn't matter what you did in the past. It doesn't matter that stuff doesn't matter. It's over. All you can do is just make a decision now to decide to look into something more, or do something you want to do. You're never too old to do anything. Louise Hayes of Hayes Publishing Company didn't start the publishing company until she was 62. 62. We're never too old to start. You're never too old to do something. Your dream never dies unless you do, which hopefully doesn't happen. But at the end of the day, you have until you're not here anymore. There's always a chance. There's always the next moment. There's always a chance. But you just got to step up and take it. You just got to step up and do it. So I'm hoping that maybe, just one person will get something out of this, to believe that anything's possible, and that there is a growth mindset if you want to learn how to do it and research it and believe, because you got to start somewhere, and the belief is number one. If you don't believe you can do something, or you don't even think it's possible, well, then you're not going to even take the actions to even look into it. So I'm hoping that, like I said, at least one person gets something out of this. So like and subscribe. Keep sharing these videos. I'm going to keep doing them. If every once in a while I take a little time off because I had an event and kind of had to get back in the flow, but I'll always get back on here and do these things. So yeah, that's my message for today. Keep believing in yourself. Keep believing that you can grow, because we can. Yeah, the only time you don't grow is when you're not here anymore. So have a good day.